Milo Ventimiglia is not your average save-the-world superhero, although he does play one, Peter Petrelli, on NBC's hit series Heroes. In real life, he's an ambitious actor and producer whose company, Divide Pictures, just completed a series of 5 animated holiday shorts available exclusively on the American Eagle Outfitters website. Milo narrated the first episode, Home for the Holidays. Others featured the voices of Kristen Bell, Lil Jon, Adrienne Palicki, and Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy. Milo, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thanks for having me. How are you doing this morning?
Good, good. Thanks very much for taking the time today. Sorry for the technical problems.
It's all right. We expect them to happen all the time, right?
It's a new medium, right?
Yeah, totally.
Hey, I hate to pimp for American Eagle Outfitters, but it seems appropriate here. I have to think that any fan of yours, and Gilmore Girls for that matter, is going to love Home for the Holidays because you play yourself. How much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, the Home for the Holidays tale was kind of a combination of stories between myself and Adam Green, the writer-director of Winter Tales. We were just thinking about different situations I'd find myself in, he'd find himself in, and came up with the tale of a guy who's taken a really miserable plane ride home.
Now, that's never happened to you, has it?
Not exactly. Like I said, it was a combination of stories between myself and Adam Green.
How weird was it though to be playing yourself as and have this kid? I don't want to give it too much away, but the kid has a little problem with reality, I guess.
Yeah, I guess a little bit, a little problem. Can't. All he wants to do is relax, but he can't necessarily do that.
Now, what's a guy like you doing in the realm of animated holiday shorts? Where did that come about?
It was just another opportunity to work with American Eagle Outfitters. We did one series of shorts with them earlier called It's a Mall World that I produced. Mm-hmm. And we just found a great partnership with them. And we pitched an idea of claymation, and they were really into it, so we developed a bunch of stories and made these kind of classic tales our own, and what you get is 5 great shorts.
It's a lot of fun. Now, how did you get people like Pete Wentz and Kristen Bell to come on board?
We just we called up their agents, had some relationships, and once we pitched them the idea, they were into it. Like Kristen Bell, I called myself, said, I got this thing I'd love for you to work on, and she was just like, I'm in. Whatever you want to do, I'm in. And then, same thing with Lil Jon and Adrienne, and we just kind of threw it out, and they were more than happy and more than excited to be a part of it.
Now, what do you want to do next? I mean, if you're kind of playing with this now, I'm guessing you want to go on to bigger and better in the production and.
I mean, for me, I enjoy it all. I enjoy directing, enjoy producing, enjoy acting, and I take the opportunities that are presented to me when they come up. Of course, I'd love to direct a longer format, love to produce longer format, and there's a bunch of things that I am circling around, but, anytime I'm involved in any one of those 3, acting, directing, or producing for my job, I'm happy.
Now, we have to talk about Heroes, of course, but I want to tell people who are listening to us live that because of scheduling restraints, we cannot take live calls today. So what I did, Milo, was the next best thing, and I solicited questions from friends of mine and fans of yours. So
all right.
These are coming from a few places here. Let's start with this question from Big Dog. Did the writers' strike hobble the show by forcing producers to end any of the storylines prematurely?
I don't think it hobbled us so much as it cut us short. The writer's strike was one of those unfortunate things that stops production. Beyond the strike, you can't write anything new. You can only produce what's been written. And we basically ran out of material. I think the producers, it was their intent to give some kind of a wrap-up to the to what is looking like a very short season, just so that people weren't left with too many questions. In my opinion, it was a good thing to do to hopefully tie up a couple of loose ends and hopefully leave people wanting a little bit more.
And this second season got hit by some criticism early on that it was taking too long to get to the meat, and then it seemed like those last couple of weeks, the critics and the fans may have come around a little bit.
Yeah, they did. I mean, we had some problems early on, still working out problems, towards the end, but I know the show started to get back to that same feeling, that same sentiment that we'd all worked very hard for. But it's one of those things you just gotta understand that a season is long. You're making usually 24 episodes, so I think when there's a little bit of a delay, there's not that instant rewarding scene or moment or episode. People get impatient. So it's finding that balance between giving and getting.
It must be hard for both the writers and the actors to be on a show where the expectations are so high that you almost reach a point where no matter what you do, you're going to let people down. Is that the case?
Yeah, no. I mean, you're damned if you don't. You just got to know that hopefully that the work that you're doing, the work that you're putting in, it's your best efforts, and it's everybody's best effort. That being said, though, all those best efforts have to come together in sync. Otherwise, it's a show that doesn't have a heart.
How much before the writer's strike set in? How much did you know of plot lines for your character going in, and how much do you think that may change going forward with the delay in getting back into production?
I knew quite a bit. I knew where we were headed, but I also had the luxury of not really having to follow it too closely because Peter had amnesia. Peter, I went in for a meeting with Tim Crane before we started the show, and they said, "All right, so Peter can't remember anything." I said, "Okay, great. Well, let me know as I need to know stuff." And I just kind of waited around. Usually, you're pretty eager to know where you're headed. No idea where Peter was going to go, and it didn't really matter at that point. So, where we're going to be going after, again, that's all up in the air. I think the production team was taking into consideration the criticism we got, and hopefully wanting to get back on track to that same feel we had the first season. So I think things are going to switch up a little bit.
Are you? Is there any question whether you'll stay with the show? Eric, who wrote in, said that he had heard rumors that you didn't necessarily want to continue.
Who said that?
Eric. He's one of the people who sent in some questions for you.
Really? No. You know what? I'm a loyal guy, and I also have a contract that I hope to honor. So, I'd be on the show, I think, as long as they would have me, and as long as I'm obligated to, and put my best work forward, and leave everything else up to time. I've got other ambitions, but when it comes to the show and when we're in production, that's definitely job one.
Milo, I want to tell you that two listeners who can't call in, Call Your Nana and Luke Armour, both say hello. I want to pass that along. It's fun out here. And Dr. Blogstein, who has a show on Blog Talk Radio, wanted to know this. Are there considerations in taking a few episodes this coming season or next to go deeper into the backstory and focus on your character's parents, as well as George Takei's character and some of the older heroes?
I think that was an intent to understand a little bit more. That's always been the question. People want to know how do these abilities come about. As it seems in the way the show's been going, the storyline, it seems that there was a greater mystery as to how these people have these abilities. But again, that's a lot up to the writers. It's about what they're looking to explore, and of course, the actors, we can give our two cents and what we'd like to see, what we'd like to get into, but it's ultimately up to the writers.
We've got about 2 minutes left, so I want to squeeze in a couple of these other questions. Sharon wants to know, and remember, I didn't write these questions. Sharon wants to know, if you're not dating Hayden Panettiere, who are you dating?
Is my what?
If you're not dating Hayden.
My phone broke up.
I'm sorry?
I said my phone got a little for a second.
Oh, okay. Sharon's question is, if you're not dating Hayden Panettiere, who are you dating?
God, it's one of those funny questions that.
I'm glad I didn't ask.
Yeah, I know. It came from a listener. I think when you're young in this industry and you work as much as I do, you try and spend time with people that want to spend time with you. That's about all you can do.
All right. Last question. Mimi asks, what powers would you want in real life?
I think in a world where there are abilities, people with abilities, I'd take my characters. He's a sponge. He can soak up anything. But if I just had any ability, I'd want to be able to teleport. I could go have coffee in Paris if I wanted to, and lunch in Italy, and then be right back at home in the flash of an eye.
I like that. Well, Milo, thank you so much for joining us on Mr. Media today.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Bob.
Appreciate it. If you're curious about Milo's animated holiday series, here's the URL, http://www.ae.com/web/77e/winter-tales, TALES, /. And it's on the website if you need it. If you'd like to keep up with Mr. Media's Friday interviews, you can subscribe to the site via email at www.mrmedia.com. You can also subscribe to the feed via the podcast section of iTunes.